Hello, this is Samadan, and he's on an adventure to make gold. Now, it's been a while since we've done this series, so I thought today would be a good opportunity to have a look at Samadan and go through his routine as a material flipping character and what he does to make a nice steady amount of gold that adds to the coffers of the other characters involved in this adventure of gold making. So now we're not talking about the high stakes BOE flipping of latest patches and whatnot. What we're talking about here is steady, consistent sales through materials, both old world and current content alike. So I'll go through the process of what we've been doing as you've been seeing over throughout the series. So a typical routine would be here in Shatrath, and I'm going to head on over and check my mailbox for the day. Usually I would expect to see a few sales at the top, of which we've got a nice one here of heavy leather, 516, and then a whole load of expires which we're going to put on as well, and some purchases there from previously. So I'll pick up all the expires here. So what Samadan's been doing is basically using the capacity of the backpack as an indicator as to how much stock I have versus how much things I could buy, and then balancing that out with the amount of gold we have at the moment, which is currently 75,000 gold. So usually if I've got more in my mailbox than I have in my bag capacity, then I'll know it's the time to just keep trying to relist things and try to curb my spending on new things. It's also a good indicator to see when you've got a large stock of something, like you can see here with the Shalderai silk and the Ember silk cloth. It's a good indicator of, okay, I might have bought a bit too many of those items, and I might consider selling those for less than my smart average buy price, just to try and shift the stock and make way for new things. It's a constant evaluation, basically. We're looking at what we have. As you can see here, inventory is full, so I've got more than I currently have capacity for in my bags. It's not a big problem, you can always come back and list everything again, but it just serves as a nice indicator as to where we're at with our gold making. So I'll start with this lot, and then we'll go back and post that straight on using our operations that we have. I'll do a little recap of those operations in a moment. So we have all of our commodities here for shopping. We'll go through those in a moment. So we have a whole load of commodities here that we're going to be looking at. So we're going to run a post scan of all of this, and this serves as a good indicator as to, okay, what's the market like with these items. Undercutting the competition is a good indication that we've got some healthy competition and the prices are reasonable. Things at normal price, obviously that means there's no competition there. The number of things that appear at the bottom, which are below minimum price, are items that I might need to have a look at. Maybe look at something that can be done in terms of resetting those markets, depending on the items themselves. And then anything that's above max price, maybe just worth a look at. Say, okay, is this ridiculously high? As you can see here, comparing that with the actual region market value of 64 gold, this is quite a bit higher, so we'll keep this at the max price. But these are all indicators just to have a look at things and go, okay, what have we got here? Is it the right kind of price? And then rely on our operations to just post everything on. So I'll go through and post all of these items. I've increased the amount of items I post on now to I think 2,000 now, seeing as I've got some large stock quantities of some of these items, which hopefully I'll be able to shift in due course. So with those posted on, I can then see, okay, I've got a few extra things left. I know I had quite a large stock of those. You can always look in the tooltip that 2,000 are already on the auction house. I would look for anything that's maybe in this list of below minimum prices or anything we can do here. I've moved some of the Spirit of Harmony items back into the normal commodities flipping, but I tried several times to keep the price of this high, but it does seem to be consistently low on this server. So my smart average buy price of 190 gold hasn't really held, and so a lot of my stock is actually taken up. That 356 we have is based on this Spirit of Harmony price with an average buy price of 190 gold. If I hold shift down, you can see 200 of those is worth 30,000 gold, and I have a little bit more than that, so I've got probably about 45,000 gold's worth there. So it would be nice to sell those. I might have to sell them at a slight loss. We'll see how things go. There are other things I can do with Spirit of Harmony, so I'm okay to hold on to those. These are the kind of decisions I'm making on a per item basis. Let's go back to the mailbox and pick up everything that we didn't collect there, including the gold, and then we'll go back and post those back on. So it's usually the odd items here that we're putting on at above max price, and sometimes at normal price here, this silencer for 11,000 gold. We'll just leave that on as it is. Other things, maximum amount already posted. We know we've already posted 2,000 of those and a single one of those. And then we have all the other things that we may want to look into when it comes to posting. So let's go post these on, see what we're left with. So with those posted, I'd look at what's in my bags and maybe look at these individual items and see if there's anything we can do from this section. So I'll click on the Browse tab and then shift right click any one of these. Now I know I've already posted a load of those and the Windwall cloth and I think potentially the Mage Weave cloth. No, we haven't in the Mage Weave cloth. So looking at that, I know I bought this overpriced. It's 26 silver as average, so I know that looking at here, I don't really want to be buying any more, but I could come in here at the 34 silver, so you never know, someone might buy this 183 and go further on. So what I'll do is I'll post it here in between the two and post all of those on, and then look at my other items, look at perhaps the Spirit of Harmony. Our average is 190, so there's still a fair few on here. We could maybe just jump in here manually, post a few on, you never know, put the 356 on. The deposit cost is quite cheap on that anyway, and then look at a few of these. The Fireweed we actually bought for quite high, so in order to go, what were we at there? 113, so 122 again would probably, the 113 and 122 is not a big difference there, so I'll probably leave that for the moment. Could potentially buy things up and get our average down a little bit. Looking at the numbers here, this is a fair amount below it, so much as I wouldn't want to buy too much, I'd look at the price here and go, okay, that's only 20 gold, and we might be able to keep the price a little bit higher here for the moment, so we could buy those up. I don't necessarily want to buy these up, they're about to expire in a couple of hours anyway, but we have that in reserve to consider. Looking at these, and now interestingly, I don't have a smart average buy of those. That must have been something I collected over on Samadan, so we might have to put this one on manually. Looking at our averages over the course of time, 8 gold average, so we would look at here at 10 gold. It's a pretty good price, so we'll post them on for that. The Siren's Pollen 99, again we're here, so let's just put those in manually. May or may not get some sales. 11 gold for that. Now, we actually bought that for quite a bit cheap. But then I would look at this and go, okay, what am I going to consider here? I'd look at this, there's only 9 of them on at 11 gold. I would look at the tooltip again, and I can see that I've actually sold 202 over the course of time. Minimum of 5 gold, average of 20 gold, as high as 31 gold in fact. So I would look at that and make a decision, okay, do I want to buy another 9 and maybe put some up at a higher price? Not at this 99 gold, but we could maybe do something there. I would then look at things like the region sale rate, which is 0.07, so it's not massively high, but it is something. And now I'll look at my personal sale rate, which is 0.09, which is slightly higher. So I would make a decision here, looking at this and looking at this, and I go, okay, it's probably worth my while to just buy those, because it's slightly less than my smart average buy price anyway. There's only 9 of them, it's 107 gold, and compare that against the reserves I have here. This is small fry really, so I would make the decision to buy that. Now I could post this and put in a manual price here. Sometimes it's easier to go to the auctioning tab and then shift right click it there, and then it will automatically put in the max price, which for here is 64 gold, so it's still a little bit high. I would maybe want to go 31 gold as my maximum price, but I'm going to post this on anyway, you never know. Compared to what's already on there, that is reasonable. And then go through and just check these. 85 silver on the prismatic scale. Our average buy price is 88 silver. I don't have any sales of that yet, so I have purchased 7, but I haven't actually sold any yet. So do I add to my numbers, or do I actually go and it's about the same, so let's try that, see how much it would cost me. Again, it's only 73 gold, so it's a small increase. It's not going to take our stock up too high. It's only 86 of those, and then we'll try a post of the ones we do have, which is now going at 4 gold 40, which we'll try it at that, and then we'll have a look at what we have left here. The Borean Leather, 1 gold 25. Haven't had any sales of that yet. 0.13 region sale average, that's quite high. Region sale average is actually quite high. So I would consider, is this worthy of an investment? It's another stack and a bit, including the amount we have, so we'd be adding to our amounts here. That could be an easy one to set up. Let's try that. Let's have a look. How much would that cost us? 308 gold. Again, bearing in mind the amount of gold we have, the amount of stock we have, I'd weigh up between each of these and say, okay, is this worth me buying? And even though I don't have any knowledge yet of whether this will sell or not, based on this evidence, I would say yes. So I'd buy that. And then we can just at least put this lot on for the 10 gold at the moment. That's quite an attractive price. And then looking at the Trillium ore. Now we got most of this through doing our Spirit of Harmony sales. So this isn't necessarily an average buy price situation. We have sold 3 on average for 50 gold, which was a good price. I would rather come in here at the 61 gold price. So it's a question of knowing your materials, how you got them. We didn't necessarily buy these, but we're trying to sell them still. So I would come in here and hope to sell some at this price. So I would go with that. Then with all those items that we currently have, the next stage in my routine would be to have a look at all of this thing of the Shadowlands materials, cloth, fish, herbs, leather and ore, which we have groups for each of these with each of the expansions. The Shadowlands materials there are just the enchanting mats. I'll soon be making another one of enchanting mats for the whole of these categories, so I'll go through and do those as well. But we've got each of the expansions, all the different ore and leather. There's one big search. I'll do a shopping search of all of that, so I'll just leave that running. It takes quite a while. The good thing with this shopping search, you can either leave it running whilst you're doing something else on a second screen, or you can start looking at things that start appearing and start making some decisions on things. So I'd start looking at the prices. I tend to just focus on the things that are blue, that are representing a relative bargain at this stage, and I'd have a look and see if there's anything I recognise that I've sold before, anything that looks like it might potentially be a bargain. I have included the fish at the moment, but I've noticed in my experience that a lot of the fish don't tend to have a huge amount of usefulness at this stage, especially the old world things. So I would treat some of these with a little bit of caution, but looking mainly at, say, the cloth. I know I've already got some cloth on. Let's have a look at the linen cloth. That's 24 silver. I know I bought some before at 20 silver on average and sold it for 49. I'd then look at when did I last buy it, when did I last sell it. My personal sale rate 0.37 seems quite reasonable. Looking back at when I last purchased it 98 days ago, then I'd look at what we actually have available. So I'd expand this out and say, okay, well, linen cloth, we have 24 silver, it's 1,422, so it would be a big purchase to buy all of those. Don't think I necessarily want to do that. Then I'd leave that expanded out so I know that I've looked at that one already. The next thing I'd look at is, say, look at this deep sea satin, 4 gold 96. Smart average buy price is 1 gold 25. Sold some for 237. So that looks like that might have had a bit of a reset. Deep sea satin is quite good for deep sea bags. Although looking at that, I'd wonder, okay, why has this gone so high? I know the region average is 10 gold, so maybe there's been a reset there or two. There's only a few of them. I know obviously Deep Sea Satin is the expansion before in Battle for Azeroth. There's a small number of these, and then we have a jump up to 588, so you're adding a gold on there. So I'd then make a decision, okay, do I want to buy this? Well, the first thing I'd look is, okay, how much would this cost me? So I'd click on this one. You can see it's already paused here. And you click on buyout and I go, okay, well, where's the next big jump? It's here, 588. So how many have we got here? 136 with an average price of 498. That's going to cost me 676 gold. Looking at this and comparing against the gold we have, that's not a huge amount of my resources. We could maybe add another gold on there. It's not a huge amount though, 136 gold, so that's another 100 gold. So it's not huge, it's kind of small fry. Looking at the prices that I've sold for previously, 2 gold on average, we have sold quite a lot of it, 5,700. So I'd maybe look at that and think, can I sell this for as high as 5 gold 88? I have previously sold it for 7 gold 35, so that would maybe add into my decision making process. But for the factor of this only being 600 gold versus the amount we have here, this is worth adding to our coffers. So I'm going to buy this anyway. Looks like unfortunately I didn't manage to buy that. I'd have to rescan that to find that one. So if we try that again, buy commodity, there we go. Now that bought it up, and then we can resume the scan. and let everything else run through. So then I go back and see if anything else has come in since then. We've got Frost Lotus here. That's got a very inflated market value. Look at that, 878 gold. I do have a couple on me at the moment. Never really sold any. Anything else that's popping out? We've got True Silver ore already. That seems relatively cheap at 5 gold, but then look at our smart average buy price of 1 gold 56. It all depends on the sale rate there, whether we manage to sell any of that. We probably shouldn't bump up the price on that anyway. That's being, again, artificially inflated. You can see at the market value being 69 gold. That's too high compared to the region market value, so I wouldn't take that as a decision. So all these decisions, all this thinking is understanding the materials, looking at the evidence in front of me, and then making a decision whether I want to buy any of these materials out. Fellwort can normally be a nice one. Look at that one, 45 gold. We have sold some for 90 gold before, so at 45 gold, that one looks like it stands out. Again, 45, that looks like a bait item, so I'll gladly buy that one up. That's where someone has put one on to hopefully catch other people at a cheap price. But as we have our TSM data telling us the market value and the averages, you could even go up here and take these even higher, up to 180 or something like that. You could probably take all of those. That's another 900 gold. We have an average price now of 101. We did buy some before for 20 gold. That was amazing at that price. And sold for 90 gold before, so 111 is kind of pushing it a little bit. But looking at the market, looking at the region average as well, we may get away with this. So let's give that one a go. And you can go on and so forth, just looking for little things. I have to keep in the back of my mind. Remember, I bought more than my bag's capacity at the moment, so I don't necessarily want to carry on spending. Temptation as it is, ideally you want to reinvest this gold so it makes more gold. We currently have 344,000 gold worth of posted auctions on. Variety does mean we have more opportunities to sell things. So the Strangle Kelp, I know I've sold for an average of 9 gold. This is currently sitting at 6 gold, so and there's only a few of them there. So again, I would take this and reset this at a slightly higher price. So they're all very small purchases at this stage, but they will add up to gold over time. The beauty of this is you can do it over multiple days and slowly keep a rotation going through. So with those done, I think I'll keep it at that, and then we'll go and pick up our auctions that we've just purchased, all of those, and then we'll jump back and do a post scan of those. So there we go, that Fellwort at 505. I don't think that's going to sell for that price, but we'll try it at this point and then we'll see what happens over the course of time, and then if anyone else posts on below that, we can undercut them. So we'll pop those on and see if any of those sell. So we're now at 76,000 gold, 61 posted auctions with a value of 353,000 gold. The way to make more gold than this is to have more variety in your inventory, and the way to make more gold is to do this regularly, like every day. So if we look at the graph here, I think this is on Shadowdan at the moment. If we go back to Samadan, you can see that over the course of time, I mean, this is a long time, we're coming up for nearly a year now, so it's not a huge amount, but then I've not been doing it that regularly. There have been gaps in things and I've not been consistently doing everything, so it took a little while to build up, but now we're up to the point of 76,000 gold. We can certainly use this technique and not spend too much time once a day just looking through the auctions, reposting things on, buying a few things, and then adding to the gold reserves. Once you add that with other gold making methods like we have with Samadan and farming, and Shadowdan with the story progression and herbalism, and for a little time leatherworking, you can see how it adds up over multiple characters into a reasonable amount of gold. Now what we'd like to do with this series is get it to the point where I'm earning enough gold to be able to pay for a token every month. At the moment we're looking at 180,000 for a token, so we're not even at that yet with nearly a year of very sporadic play. So we need to change things up a little bit here. What I'll do here is carry on with Samadan, because this is a nice little routine you can do, and that will slowly grow over time as we keep our inventory turning through. The more regularly I do it and the more frequently I buy things and sell things, then the more this value will hopefully over time increase. We can also look at expanding our groups. There's still many commodities I haven't looked at here. We've got the enchanting materials, and then we've got the relationship between materials where you can turn one thing into another and sell that for more. So there's still a lot of items here I've not added to the list. I'll keep this up to date with my Patreons so you can have access to my groups that I currently have. So in terms of operations for my commodities flipping, I have a less than sale average. It's a slightly more complicated operation. If we go into this one, we are looking and comparing DB min buyout with DB region sale average, and then if one is less than the other, in this case DB min buyout is less than DB region sale average, we return DB market. And if DB region sale average is higher than DB min buyout, then we compare that again and we look at whichever is the less, DB min buyout versus 50% of the DB region market average, and if that's the case, then return DB market. So it's basically a way of validating, or in this case invalidating, things that we don't really want to look at, and they get pushed down to the bottom of the list. What we're really looking at really is just a percentage of DB market, ultimately what that turns out at. And then for my auctioning operation, it is basically flipping average buy. I am looking at postcap for 2000, 12 hours, and I'm looking at the smart average buy price. We've got a markup here of 115% of our smart average buy price. If there isn't a smart average buy, then defaults to average buy. If there isn't an average buy, then look at DB market as a value, and then these are all percentages based thereof. So that's a bit simpler in terms of a posting operation. Those are the main ones I use in terms of filtering out and having a look at what auctions I want to buy and posting them on at a price higher than I bought them for. So it has allowed us to slowly accrue gold over time. So it's another string to our bow. The art of flipping is mainly one about market knowledge. So as you build up your groups and you look at various items, you can get a feel for things as to which ones you want to look at, which items you know have sold before, and then you start building up a inventory of things in your head and data from TSM that you can look at in your tooltip, which allows you to then make decisions as to whether you're going to buy or not buy something. So I hope that's given you a little run through and a catch up of where Samadan's doing with his gold making. We will be continuing this series. Next we'll be looking at Samadan and his farming routines, and we'll see what we can do in terms of increasing his gold making possibilities there. So the next target is going to be, can we make enough gold for a token? We'll start this and have a look and see how much gold can we make by the time the end of August comes around. So until next time, happy gold making, and I'll see you very soon.